G'day guys. As you guys may know, I've been sort of struggling a bit with all this COVID madness that currently we're going through. Today there was actually an announcement for the Novavax, which is great in that regard. So it's taken a lot of stress off me. I've been quite, let's say, not been traveling mentally very well, more than 25 years of service, being thrown out, potentially losing my benefits, something that can't be replaced and built in a very short amount of time. So the stress levels have been extremely high. Let's put it that way. I've sort of, with today's announcement, they've come down considerably in that regard. So it's taken a lot of pressure off me in that regard. But I was talking with my brother, and his partner. She's basically positive, and her daughter's been positive, but she had far more symptoms, the daughter. And I did interact with them on the last Saturday, and apparently the exposure was last about a week ago. So I really haven't had any symptoms. Pretty much it's been, a bit of basically mucosa, in my nose, a bit of gunk building up. Potentially as a response to something. I'm not claiming, but I've been pretty much more or less, I had a bit of, let's say, a diarrhea sort of episode one day, which was on the Tuesday, which was sort of surprising. It usually, when I get a viral infection, I do have, because I do have genetics for the norovirus. So, if you go on a cruise liner, that one, I'm very susceptible due to genetics, but also to other sort of viruses. When I do get them, it does hit me in the stomach far more than other people due to those genetics. So it could be a coincidence, could be completely something not related, whatever else. So it was actually quite surprising. He actually is sleeping with his with his partner, so they're both, the daughter and the woman basically are both symptomatic, and they also have done 3 tests, and they've all been basically positive. He's done 3 tests, and they've been negative, even though they've been kissing, they've been cuddling, they've been sleeping in the same bed and everything else, but he seems to be basically completely resilient. The difference is between the two is she was doing vitamin D, the daughter wasn't. The daughter wasn't doing either vitamin D or taurine. She was only doing vitamin D and not high doses. He was actually doing, and so it took her much longer because she had a bit of a back issue as well. I put it down to too much sex, but anyway, it didn't go down very well. But anyway, I got a few smug remarks, and I got a bit of a laugh out of it. But but he basically is doing the same as me: 4 grams of taurine, 5 milligrams of menaquinone 4. The version, the animal form of K2, and 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. So we've been doing that through this period that Omicron sort of appeared, and it's quite widespread. And pretty much, he's basically had, these are all rapid tests, so to speak, but he's had basically completely negative and all that. So today, I did go actually got one of the rapid tests. So I'm actually going to test myself online, doing this. And so I've got the actual, this for the nose. That's the little thing that actually goes with the stuff in it. And this is basically the kit, the test kit. So basically, I'll just slide that out. So that's the test kit. And I just want to see, because basically what we have noticed is he's completely asymptomatic, but he hasn't had any stress whatsoever. Where I got a bit of mucosa, a bit more build up in my nose and all that, and he told me he didn't, and stuff like that. We should both technically, because we've fasted and stuff like that. We should have cleared out some of the old T lymphocytes. We should have really very high T lymphocyte production due to the vitamin D, the taurine, to a lesser extent the menaquinone. That's more for the high potential calcium intake. But it does have some effects also on the disease itself. But the two key ones are the taurine and the vitamin D, the big focus for me anyway. But basically, he's been such close contact with something that is 70 times more contagious than the previous, and still is basically, which seems like his first line of defense in basically the nasal area and the throat area, is basically just stopping the whole lot. It's not getting any further. So obviously, if these key mucosal barriers are basically not being penetrated by the virus, and the T lymphocytes are just literally eliminating the stuff before it can get in and establish itself in the organism, in our bodies, so to speak, you're not going to get an antibody response whatsoever. These things are basically going to fail to show. But well, sorry, this one will, if the clearance is really well. So I'm hoping that, I'm also negative, and that the clearance, because I basically hugged his partner on Saturday when I saw her. I said hello, and, so I was in close proximity to the daughter as well, who basically was the original person that brought the thing into their home. And she was exposed at a judo sort of practice, the daughter. So basically I had contact with her, and there was something that we're reading out of the same thing on Saturday. So let's say we're pretty much in very close proximity with all these. So Sean's been completely asymptomatic in that regard, and not even getting a negative result with 3 tests, not 1 or 2, 3. So pretty much, that is really a good news. It's showing that very strong T lymphocyte response when you're in those very good high levels of vitamin D status, and you're basically on a more species appropriate diet. He's got a very high animal based diet as well, like me. Eats a lot of meat. Uses taurine, a few things like that. In that regard, menaquinone 4 as well. So we've got a lot of things that are similar, but due to my stress levels, I'm just thinking that maybe, because I did have some minor, as I said, stomach issue, which is sort of a giveaway for me. Plus the sort of the nose sort of area was a bit blocked on the Tuesday in particular, but Wednesday, yesterday, sort of subsided. Thursday, today, pretty much back to normal. So, I'm hoping that basically the clearance has happened and I get a negative test. But then again, if I do get a positive test, so be it. It just means that I'll do a test again on Saturday and see whether I get a negative test, which may mean that anything minor got eventually cleared, considering that I've been under extraordinary stress. I'd be surprised if I get a negative test. But if I get a negative test, it just is a testament that even under stress, good T lymphocyte levels are very, very important in keeping at bay viruses, especially respiratory type viruses that are coming in from the environment. So it says a lot about the importance of an animal-based diet and the sun. My old little thing. So sun, salt, and meat. So well, let's get on with it. I'm gonna do this test and find out what my situation is like in that regard. So I will pause it because it does take a certain amount of time to basically do it. So I'll be pausing it at certain stages. So let's just take. So first I need to basically take the lid. This is the little, there's a hole for that to be placed in so it stays upright. There's a fluid in there, as you can see. You take that off, just remove that. As you can see, that's come off. I'll place it in there. I get a second test in that regard. There was a second one there. I've actually got the little thing there. That's annoying. It's in the other one. Now, let me just get that out. So place that there. Okay. Let's take this out. And oh, God almighty, I'm starting to cry. Ugh, brought tears to my eyes. Okay, so we'll place that in right at the bottom there. You've got to squeeze there and start turning that quite a bit. So and the thing is, the reason why you squeeze it is because you want to basically actually get the stuff into that medium. And then you squeeze it like that and you pull it out as you're squeezing it. So what it does is it actually takes the stuff away from that. So I'll just place that because that will be for disposal. So let's place that top on this sort of thing. And now I have to be, this is the device. I have to place it at that bottom thing at a 90 degrees and put 3 droplets. So that's done. And now it's 11:29. So I will basically leave that. And that's running up through there at the moment. And so I will pause this and come back with the result. Well, we've had about 14 minutes, and basically I'll just pull that. As you can see, the test states that 10 to 15 minutes, that's the invalid. Negative is only on the C. And if you get a positive, it's on both. Okay, so there's my result, only the C. So only the C is visible. So that's negative. That's negative. Got it? I've had close proximity with two people that have basically had three rapid antigen tests, which are positive, and they've got the symptoms. And here's me, negative. So there I am. I'm basically negative, like my brother, which tells you one thing, that when you've got very strong T lymphocyte response, that's the key part of the immune system, is the first line of defense at all the mucosal barriers, even in the anus, for those who get adventurous down there. So that tells you everything. That tells you basically that, you know, when you basically have a species appropriate diet, which is high in taurine, and you've got the sun on your back, like the Maasai and people like that, that's why we're not seeing anything in the tribal areas. Species appropriate diet, earth on the ground, and with the sun on your back, you're good to go when it comes to these sort of respiratory infections and all that. You don't need Jabba the Hutt or anything in that reality. I'm just forced to use this you know, traditional approach for my job security. Not that I need it. As you can see, I'm bulletproof in that regard. So is my brother. If you're on a species appropriate diet, you're not eating carbs and shit like that and whatever else, you will have very strong first line of defense T lymphocytes that will basically keep you know, basically C19 at bay. You know, doesn't matter how infectious. This is the highest infectious. We're talking about 70 times more infectious than Delta. Okay, so let's not bullshit. There's the test. It's negative. Only on the C. There's no T line. It's got to be a T line to be positive. And it was done all the way up to, and it hadn't changed up to 15 minutes. It's gone beyond 15 minutes now, you know. So, because pretty much that's, and look at the thick line, because sometimes you don't get a very thick line if you don't leave it for very long. You have to leave it for a certain length of time to get a very strong, intense line. There's no intense line at the bottom, as you can see. So get the message out. A species appropriate diet and a good vitamin D status will keep C19 at bay and will basically really provide strong immune response. T lymphocytes, those killers, are going to take out C19 just like that, and any other respiratory type bugger that thinks he can have a bit of a party in your body. So tell your rallies, please share this. And if you're not subscribed, why the hell not? It's a bit like our Prime Minister's commercial style. Where the hell are you? You know, why the hell not? You know. Anyway, the Aussies in the crowd get my drift of my humour. Anyway, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you maintain very strong T lymphocytes, animal-based diet is the thing. Remember, taurine, vitamin D actually is the one that actually is the T cell, goes to the bone marrow and actually activates, those sort of pathways to bring about, the type of stem cells that are required to create specifically encoded stem cells to create these T lymphocytes. But they need to be stored in your thymus, and your thymus needs to be remodeled and kept large and healthy and youthful. And that means taurine. And also you need taurine in there to basically, which acts as an antioxidant, which prevents the T lymphocytes from becoming, damaged, glycated proteins. It keeps the glycation factor down. Obviously, if you're on a species approach diet and you're not eating a lot of kibble and stuff like that, the glycating factors are going to be much lower. And you're going to have that higher response like I've had. That's the take-home message. Species appropriate diet is your best defense against C19 and the sun, obviously, or supplementation as an alternative to the sun. Anyway, see you guys.